Hi, and welcome to the show.
On today's show, we're going to unbox the AVIC 6200 NEX by Pioneer. So stay tuned. So today we have the new AVIC 6200 NEX navigation system multimedia radio.
Yes.
Let's unbox it and see what comes in the box and all the other good stuff that we do. So first things first, right on top we have the GPS antenna. We have the pretty colored power harness. We have a 4-foot auxiliary extension cable. We have another 4-foot 1 USB extension. We have the new Bluetooth microphone in the blue bag of screws. The remote control, as well as an installation manual, a quick start guide for the GPS, and the owner's manual on CD. We're going to get this thing set up and we're going to tell you all the stuff that's on the back. So to start, we have the rear audio output. This would be if you're going to do dual zone video, this would be your rear audio output. You have your dedicated Pioneer 30-pin plug. You have your GPS antenna. You have USB 1 up top here. This is going to be for Apple CarPlay. You have USB 2. Way back here, you have your HDMI input. This is good if you want to do anything from your cell phone for screen sharing. Next, you have your yellow RCA, which is video out. That's to pair up with your audio out. The brown one here is for your rear view camera input. The white and red are going to be for your subwoofer output. Now, over here you have your iDataLink Maestro input, your Sirius XM tuner input, that would be the SVX300. You have your Bluetooth microphone input. You have your power plug input. You have your wired remote control input for steering wheel controls, as well as your auxiliary input. Now these two are both the same size, so make sure you're careful when you plug those in. And then last but not least, you have your antenna. Now you have a bunch of wires hanging off the back here. The first one is the yellow-black, which is the mute wire. This is very useful if you're going to try to retain OnStar. Then you have white. White is your front RCA output. Next is going to be green, which is your rear RCA output. Then you have gray, which is your audio input, as well as yellow, which is your video input. Now, video input is selectable as either a video input and or front camera input through the menu system. The unit also has 50 watts by 4.
Yep.
The RCAs, as we said, were 6-channel. It's a 4-volt preamp output. Pretty sexy.
Yes, it is.
We're going to turn this thing around, power it up, and let you take a look at the front. Alright, so when you first power up your unit, it's going to give you your choice of 5 languages. Go ahead and pick one and click Next. The next thing is going to be your smartphone setup. It's going to give you your choice of iPhone or other. Other would be Android or anything other than Android. If you are going to do an iPhone, you're going to want to leave it set for USB 1. This is so you can do Apple CarPlay. Now the unit's going to go, and this is the OK warning screen that you're going to get used to seeing. The nice thing is, on this new model, after 7 seconds, it goes away like magic. The first thing that'll pop up is your home page. This is after first power up. After that, it'll just go to whatever source you're on. So come over here and click AV. Now these are your AV sources you have available to you. Maybe, maybe not. We'll talk about the first one, which is HD. Now this unit has an HD radio built into it. Basically what HD radio does is it gives you better FM sound as well as simulcast. Simulcast is the ability to have more than one channel on the same channel. So we'll go here. Right now it says analog HD. Once it switches over to digital, you'll notice that it all of a sudden said HD1. So if we tap here, it'll change to HD2. Now we have two totally different stations on one station. We can make them presets, we can switch between them, we can do whatever we want as far as that goes. Now if you do make it a preset, when you go from one station to the next, it is going to say linking. The next source you're going to have is CD-DVD. Your CD-DVD goes in this slot right here. You have your USB 1, which is going to be used for iPod as well as Apple CarPlay. Pandora, which you can do Apple and or Android. Bluetooth audio. HDMI. Now HDMI is very important if you're planning on doing any form of screen sharing. Like if you want to watch Netflix or Hulu or anything like that on the unit, you have to have that HDMI input. You have USB 2, Sirius XM as an option. You need the SVX 300 tuner. You have your auxiliary. You have your AV inputs. Rear seat entertainment. Rear seat allows you, this is if you're going to add headrests or an overhead, you can do dual zone. So if you have a DVD playing in here and you want to listen to AM FM, you would pick DVD, and then the rear output would then feed the overhead or headrest, and you could listen to FM. Car source and car features are for your iDataLink Maestro. So if you're wondering why yours are grayed out, if you didn't get the iDataLink piece, that would be why. Rear view camera. This allows you to turn on your camera without it being in reverse. You have source off, which will just put the radio in this mode here. This will allow you to still do navigation as well as get Bluetooth phone calls. Now you also have, new this year, is power off. Power off is if you want to shut the radio down for any particular reason. When it's in this mode, this is like turning the key off. This will turn off everything. So you will not be able to use navigation or get Bluetooth phone calls. However, if you have a power antenna, it will put your power antenna down so that you can go through a car wash. To wake your radio back up, hit any button. Now, one other cool thing about these radios is this little guy right here. You can hit this button and you can take this off. This is a micro detachable face piece.
Yes.
I can't imagine how much it costs if you lose it, but it comes off. If you don't ever want it to come off, it does come with a screw that you can put into the bottom of the radio and lock it in place. The only downside to it is the screw is really ugly and visible from the front because they made it really thick. And it's silver for some reason instead of black. I mean, come on, really? Alright, so once you click it back in, this is a one-time deal, the screen is going to go ahead and come up and ask you a few questions. It's going to ask you to set a password or do not ask next time. Now, it's cool if you want to set a password if you remember your password. Meaning it has to be 4 digits that you will never forget, that you use for everything in your life. Because if you forget the password, it's $80 to send it back to Pioneer and have them reset the unit. I prefer to do don't ask next time. And there again, 7 seconds, goes away. A little bit about the display that this guy uses.
Yeah.
What kind of display? What does it have?
It's 6.2 inches. That's 800 by 480.
That's nice to know if you're planning on making your own custom background, which we'll get into backgrounds in just a second. It is a WVGA LED backlit touch panel as well, so it's nice and bright. If you ever see one of these in the store, they're very sexy. And since we were talking about custom backgrounds, let's talk about the backgrounds that it does come with. Of course, yes, you can add your own backgrounds as well as your own splash screens. So let's take a look at those. Go ahead and hit gears. Hit the art palette, hit backgrounds. Here's your backgrounds here. A lot of people don't know you get to do this, and it'll show you movement backgrounds. If you're not a background person at all, you can actually just shut the background off. These grayed out boxes right here are for your custom backgrounds that you can import. Go ahead. Now, once you find the background you like, click apply. And then go to illumination. Now illumination is for these buttons right here. You have presets, as well as you can go in and make your own. Or if you just like it to be rainbow and change colors, you can do that as well. Then you have themes. You have this funky color here, which is a purple. You have this guy, this guy, this guy, and that guy. We'll go back to the orange. And we'll close out of there. Now, even though this radio has Apple CarPlay, everyone loves Bluetooth. Bluetooth, Bluetooth, Bluetooth.
Yes.
Marsha. So let's talk about the Bluetooth, and we'll go over that before we talk about CarPlay.
Okay.
Basically, you have two different types of Bluetooth built into this. You have Bluetooth audio, and you have Bluetooth for calling. Now, the Bluetooth for calling is made by Parrot, and what's cool about that is it uses the new wideband speech recognition using the new handsfree profile 1.6. Now, what that means to you and I, other than cool numbers, is that you get double the bandwidth for better sounding calls. So unlike older Bluetooth, it sounded like a tin can, this isn't going to sound like that. Now you have presets, contacts, ingoing, outgoing, your 9 keys, as well as Siri Eyes Free, or push to talk. So if you're just going to hop in the car and go for a quick trip and you don't want to plug in your USB to do Apple CarPlay, you still have full functioning Bluetooth. Now as far as Bluetooth audio goes, you have the new Bluetooth streaming AVIC P 1.4 profile, which means you can search your playlists as well as do track up and down, and it's going to give you text information right here. However, it will not display album artwork. As we alluded to, this unit does have Apple CarPlay.
Yeah.
Okay, Apple CarPlay gets plugged into USB 1, and it is a wired solution, so it has to be plugged in order to function. It has not become a wireless solution yet, and it won't be on these radios ever, this model, so don't ask. Okay, what does Apple CarPlay give me? Well, Apple CarPlay is going to give me my phone, so it's a little bit different user interface because it's going to be the one that's on your phone. So if you come over here and you show contacts, it's going to show you all your contacts. Now you can use the hands-free just by pressing this. It's going to pop up Siri and you can ask her to do anything you want. You don't actually have to go into your contacts. It's going to give you your music, along with all your playlists and albums and artists are all right here at your fingertips. Maps. You have messages. Now the nice thing about messages is when you get a message, a gray bar appears at the top, you can tap it. Now when you go to messages, it doesn't actually show you any messages, it just tells you who your messages are from. And then down across the bottom here you have now playing, get back to your radio, podcasts, and audiobooks. You scroll across, these are apps that are available to you. Now the app list is constantly growing. So you have iHeartRadio, MLB, to name a few. Here's your Spotify, Pandora. Now the one thing you have to know about the apps, if you haven't figured it out, is they're audio only. Yeah. There's no video aspect at all when using Apple CarPlay. It's designed to make your life easy. That's it, as far as when you're driving. 10 and 2, eyes on the road. Okay, so since we talked about navigation, let's talk about the navigation that's built into it. So go ahead and hit your Maps button. It'll launch Maps. Now, if this is your first time launching Maps, it's going to ask you what language you'd like to choose from. So we'll go ahead and click USA, select. Now it's going to give you all the information that you need to know about licensing and all this. Don't do this, do this. Read it and then hit accept. And then it's going to ask you, would you like to set up your navigation system and better optimize it? Go ahead and say next. Now, the first thing you come up is how you want it to talk to you. You have two different styles of talk. You have regular voice, which is going to say turn left or turn right. And up here you have TTS. TTS stands for text to speech. If you pick a TTS, that'll give you the ability for it to actually name the road. So it'll say something like US 19 or State Road 580. Because it has turn by turn, that's your choice. Now you have 3 languages that it'll do that in: English, Spanish, and French. So we'll go ahead and pick TTS, and we'll click next. Now over here it's going to ask you things like distance, temperature. So if you live in the States, you're going to click Fahrenheit. You can click your currency. Okay. Then click next. And then it's going to ask you, do you have a car or a truck? Fastest method, on-road or off-road. And then you can choose all these things, which is highways, tolls, and ferries, carpool lanes. And then click next. Click finish. And boom, it's going to bring you to the navigation screen. Now, a little bit about the navigation. It has 7.9 million points of interest. Points of interest are restaurants, or basically any business with a name that it's going to have. Down here, you're going to notice this little guy here. This is for your total traffic. This will give you the ability to look at traffic situations in your area. Now, if you've gone ahead and plotted a route, it'll fine-tune that to just traffic situations on your route. It has an 8 gigabyte flash memory that holds all the navigation goodness into it. And it uses Here Maps for Life. Now, what Here Maps for Life basically means is within the first 45 days of this pinging a satellite, Maps for Life guarantees you the latest navigation map. What you can do is go to their website and download the most current navigation software for this unit at the time. You only have 45 days. Now, it may be the navigation that's already loaded in here, or there might be an update for it. It doesn't matter. It's free to do. It's all to you. You have 45 days to do that. After the 45 days, it's going to cost you. That's just how it is. Now, if you actually want to go somewhere, tap this guy here. You can click New Route, Route Planner, Traffic, Useful Information, New Route. It's just, from here, it's just like any other navigation system you've ever used. So like we said, this uses total traffic, which is done over FM. It's free, doesn't cost you anything. It's very similar to the service you have on your phone now, so that's another nice thing. You don't lose any features going from your phone to the inboard GPS. It's pretty cool. Buying one of these radios is hopefully for an improvement in sound quality.
Yeah.
You know, you're not just buying it for nav or Bluetooth or Apple CarPlay. You might be. I don't know. But the nice thing about the NEX model radios is they have a really good sound pack built into them with a lot of features. And we're going to give you a quick overview on those features, right? So here we go. Go ahead and hit the gears. Come over here to the speaker. And this will get you into the audio section. So the first thing to come up is the EQ. You have 5 preset EQs as well as 2 custom EQs. To set them, you just go in and you can touch the screen anywhere you want. You have balance and fader, mute level, source level adjust. This is really helpful if your device that you're using has a weak output, either over Bluetooth or 1/8 inch headphone. You can go in and independently on each source turn this up or down. Rear speaker on or rear speaker off. Because this has dual zone, if you have little kiddies in the back with their headphones on, you may want to turn off the rear speakers so that they don't have to listen to your music. You can also do that with the subwoofer. So if it's just pounding away on them and it's distracting and they're yelling and doing all the things that kids do, you can turn the subwoofers off as well. Next is speaker level. This unit gives you the ability to control the level of all 5 speaker positions in your car. And the reason why it does that is because it has listening position. You can pick where you're sitting in the car and it will give you a generic time correction. If you'd like to go in and actually fix the time correction, pick time correction, and you can go ahead and adjust that as well by measuring the distance between your head and one of the speakers, or all the speakers. If you would like for it to do it all on its own, that's where the auto EQ setting comes in. There's an optional microphone you can buy for this and allow it to do it all on its own. If you'd like a more in-depth review of the features we've talked about here, because there's a lot of them and we kind of go fast over them because there's a lot to talk about, we do have videos on each feature. There's about, 15 of them. So if you want to know more about, let's say, the backup camera or the front-facing camera or a CarPlay, we have videos just dedicated to those where we get really deep into what they do. If you do have a question about this, or you want to see, do we make a video about that and you want to ask, go ahead. Leave it in the comments and we'll get back to you. If you like the video, please subscribe. And other than that,
thank you for watching. You guys can find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.
and as usual, really appreciate everything you guys do by watching our videos and the nice comments you leave. You guys have a great night, and we'll see you later next time. Bye!